Get ready because it's time to take a look inside of the week that was Lake Forest College Athletics in this week's episode of Lake Forest College Sports Zone. Here is your host, Cam McGuire.
Hello everybody and welcome back inside Lake Forest College Sports Zone. As always, I'm your host, Cam McGuire, and we bring you today episode number 2 of the spring season. Well, last weekend, men's golfer Jacob Krugman was awarded Midwest Conference Performer of the Week after his 4th place finish, and it was the 6th time receiving the award for the junior golfer. Well, the men's golf team traveled to Normal, Illinois this past weekend to compete in the Illinois Wesleyan Invitational, and man, oh man, did they see some tough competition. Foresters finished 15th out of 21 teams, but they fired a .308 on day 1 and then a .306 on day 2. They played 11 rounds in the fall season, and their average was a .310. Illinois Wesleyan finished first place, shooting a -4 total. 2 standouts from the weekend were Jacob Krugman firing a 75 on day 1 and then a 73 on day 2, finishing +4 for the tournament, while senior Ricky Schmidt fired a 74 on day 1 and then a 76 on day 2, finishing the tournament at +6.
Well, Ricky, last weekend it was a very competitive field in that tournament. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was one of the better fields we play in all year. So Illinois Wesleyan hosted. They are the number 3 team in the country. We actually played probably our best round of the year between the fall and spring, but we took 15th. It was it's good to see we're trending upward. But it was a very good field.
And you look at you personally, you finished the tournament +6. You thought you played pretty well both those days. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I played okay. I started to putt a little better, not where I want to be, but again, moving in the right direction. So see what happens rest of the season.
The women's golf team kick-started their spring season on Monday at the Judson Invitational Tournament at Randall Oaks Golf Club down in West Dundee, Illinois. The top 2 performers from the women's team were Faith Young, a sophomore who shot an 88, and then right behind her was fellow sophomore Amanda Lee, firing an 89. The Foresters tied for 2nd out of 7 teams in the tournament. The men's tennis team won twice this past week to improve their MWC record to 4-1. Match number 1 of the day came at Illinois College, and it was a win for the Foresters 7-2. They won all 3 doubles matches and then won 5 out of 6 singles matches. Match number 2 was at Monmouth, and it was a 6-3 win for the men's tennis team after winning all 3 doubles matches, but they lost number 1, 2, and 3 singles. But at number 4 singles, it was junior Chase Garber prevailing 6-3 and then 6-1 as the Highland Park native went 4-0 on the day. Sophomore Brant Christensen in number 5 singles came out victorious 6-1, 6-2, and then freshman Matthew Pulowski in number 6 singles swept his match 6-0, 6-0 as the Foresters went 2 for 2 on the day. Well, the women's tennis team was in action on Monday down at Carthage, and it was a 6-3 win for the women. The Foresters won 4 out of 6 singles matches, and freshman Katie Wagrecki owns the 3rd longest singles winning streak after she picked up her 13th consecutive singles win, winning 7-5 and 6-4 at number 6. The Foresters then won 2 out of 3 doubles matches, highlighted by an 8-4 win at number 2 doubles by senior Allison Watts and sophomore Tierney Miller. The win for Watts was her 83rd career win at doubles, and it passed Christy Valicenti, who had previously had 82 wins. So now Watts holds the record at doubles, and she's just 3 wins away in singles from surpassing her former teammate in Valicenti. Talking about records, well, the track team, they set some records this past weekend down at the Wheaton Invitational. The Foresters' first school record came early on when senior Jorge Villanueva won the 10,000-meter run by almost 13 seconds. His time of 31:35:33 was 32 seconds better than the previous mark he set last April. Sophomore Yaneli Guijardo was the other Forester to set a record on Saturday when Guijardo completed her 1,500-meter run in 4:52:52 to break her own mark by more than 3 seconds. She was 7th in the event and also added a 6th-place performance and time of 2:22:83 in the 800-meter run later in the day. The women's softball team finally got to play outside this spring, and they traveled to Grinnell on Saturday. They dropped game number 1 of the doubleheader to Grinnell 5-3, but then in game number 2 they trailed 3-1 heading into the 7th inning, and they decided to get those rally caps out, and my oh my did they work for the Foresters. To lead things off in the top of the 7th, down 3-1, junior Riley Frisbee with a 1-1 count would blast one out of the park, decreasing the Foresters' deficit to just 1. With a runner on 2nd and 3rd and just 1 out, senior Alyssa Grimm knocked one past the second baseman, sending both base runners home, putting Lake Forest on top 4-3. Grimm would then score 2 batters later on an error from the second baseman, making the lead 5-3, which would give the Foresters the victory. Senior Kira Lenzi would get the win on the mound for the Foresters, throwing all 7 innings, allowing 6 hits, just 2 earned runs, and tossing 3 strikeouts. The win Saturday marked the 400th career victory for head coach Joe Kinsella, and it would be his 282nd at the college. A sweep it was on Sunday for the Foresters as they took down Cornell College 6-4 in game number 1 and then 4-2 on Sunday. Maria Zapeta went 5 for 9 with 2 runs scored on Sunday, and Riley Frisbee homered once again, and she now leads the Foresters with 3 home runs on the year.
Well, Riley, 2 home runs last weekend for you. You now lead the Foresters with 3. Was one of them maybe nicer than the other, or were they both just as equally pretty?
The first one's a little bit nicer. I've been in a little bit of a slump coming into that, so that was a nice way to get out of that against Grinnell. A little bit of revenge against them also, so that was fun.
Well, you won 1 out of 2 against Grinnell, and then you swept Cornell on Sunday. It had to feel good to get some revenge against 2 teams that ended your season in Midwest Conference play last year.
Oh yeah, it was definitely nice to get some revenge. It was tough to lose one of those against them, but it was nice to come out 3-1 last weekend.
Well, you finally got to play outside this past weekend. Now this weekend you're going to play outside on your home grass against Illinois College on Saturday and then Monmouth on Sunday. It's got to feel pretty exciting to be back on your home turf.
Oh, definitely exciting to be out here, especially against IC. They were one of our tough games last year, so excited to be on home field against them this year and get a crowd out on Sunday for our senior day, so it should be fun.
Well, that was the week that was Lake Forest College athletics. What do you say we take a look at the week ahead and preview the upcoming games? We start with the men's golf team. A 3-3 weekend. Saturday at Wisconsin Lutheran Spring Invitational Morningstar Golf Club in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Then Sunday, the Foresters will host their Forester Invitational at White Deer Run Golf Club in Vernon Hills, Illinois. And then on Monday, to close out the 3-3, at Elmhurst College Spring Invitational at Oak Brook Golf Club in Oak Brook, Illinois. Men's tennis team, it's going to be a busy weekend for them. Saturday at St. Norbert at 8:30 a.m. and then at Ripon the same day at 2 p.m. Then they'll be at home on Sunday against Lawrence at 10:30 a.m. Just one match this week for the women's tennis team. Thursday at Wheaton College, 6 p.m. Track also going to be back in action Friday at UW-Platteville. The Invitational takes place at 6 p.m. And then Saturday, the men will be at St. Norbert at 8:30 a.m. While the women will be at the Carroll University Pioneer Invitational at 11 a.m. Well, softball's game today against Ripon has been postponed, and the Foresters finally going to be on home turf Saturday versus Illinois College at 1 p.m., a doubleheader, and then Sunday versus Monmouth College, the doubleheader starting at 2 p.m. That's the action around Lake Forest College athletics this week, and that'll conclude this week's episode of Lake Forest College Sports Zone. As always, go Foresters.